Okay. Hey guys, Tim here doing a video for the Sanctum squad. Me and some friends played a cool deck this weekend for UK Nationals. It was Mitsu, Fiendsmith. The reason being is like the Ryzo cards felt kind of bad. Obviously, like they're the best they made the best end board. The X is insane, Detonate is insane. But the issue with them is when your opponent has like the really high impact hand traps like Perulia, Droll, Fua, stuff like that, they sort of like disintegrate into being like this sort of deck where it doesn't do as much. And that's kind of like the same problem as like Malice has as well, I think, which is another like sort of deck that we just tried but we didn't really like.
It's like it loses to, instead of the main deck, it's all the side deck stuff. Like everyone's playing Lancia, some people even playing the Owls. It's just like 6 slots that almost auto lose you the matchup.
It's just like your deck just has not enough agency in these situations where your opponent just has like a really high impact hand trap. Like, you know, say if your first action is bonfire and you get drolled, or tackle and you get drolled, it just feels awful. Like you're just not ending on enough. Like Detonator versus like the mirror and stuff is just kind of bad, like, you know, just by itself or whatever. So we played this deck because it was substantially better into like the high impact hand traps, but a lot worse into the low impact hand traps. So like this deck is the sort of deck where like an Ash gets you like randomly. Obviously not always, because some of your hands are just always going to play for everything. But like, you know, it's something where you know your 1-card starters aren't losing out to like Droll, Fua, Perulia, stuff like that, which is cool. We'll just get into the deck. I'll explain what needs to be played and stuff like that. So we played 3 Habakiri, 2 Amno, 1 Futsu. Amno's the kind of the card we went back and forth on with a number a little bit because you know, we tried 1, we tried 3. When we played 1, the issue is you get like what's it called? Like if it gets Bistilled or Crowed, it's kind of unfortunate, and Crow came back into popularity because it's just sort of circled back in. I think it did well at one of the YCSs and sort of just been picking up speed at Nationals. So we ended up playing 2 of this just because it's also like when you have to start like Prez, discard Amno or tribute Amno, it's not super ideal. It makes you a bit susceptible to things. It just makes your grind better to play 2, I think.
There are some patterns that like you can sign up when you go first, but like on the whole, if you're like with the Bistills and the Crow, it is ideal to play 2 in the game 1.
Yeah.
Game 3, when you go second especially.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if you lose access to one, you just need a second realistically, because you don't really want to burn your Kusa ad back on like an Amno. You want it to be more like one of the spells. And then Fusu is actually just the best card in the deck, in all fairness. The idea is that like if you get into a grind and this is on the field, like say like because the issue over the last few years is that the decks have all been so high power, right? Like you don't get into these long games in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I kind of felt that there was like a benefit to playing this deck, is if you get into a long game of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of people are going to be like, have not really tested out or played enough long games of Yu-Gi-Oh! To sort of be like really sure what to do in these situations. And Futsu is like really facilitates that. Because like every summon they give you basically gives you a body that is doing something, like it searches or whatever. You know, obviously it can summon back Amno, but like just the grind this card gives you is outrageous.
And usually when the turn gets back to you, if you've resolved Futsu a couple of times and added pieces, you can usually just Ritual and Amno. And that kind of pushes through a lot of stuff. It's
just good enough to win the game, kind of thing. Futsu is actually just really good. And then we played for the names, I guess you call it, Free Aramasa. This deck has an issue a little bit with 1-card starters. Obviously, it has less than the other decks. It's more sort of like you look at Hand and Freestyler kind of deck. So we played 3 Aramasa. Originally, this was like, we were back and forth on 2 and 3, but there's some side patterns this comes out as well when you go second, because you have like the percentage increase when you draw a card for turn and stuff to draw starters. But I think 3 is just acceptable.
Yeah. It sometimes like fixes hands when you draw a couple falls and you're like,
you
want to resolve Ritual to just send from deck.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well, is this deck doesn't have like a particularly high amount of normal summons, so like you know, compared to like Ryzo or like Malice or whatever, so it's like fine to play 3 Aramasa, I think. And then 1 Saji, 1 Kusa, and then the Goat, Night's Soul 7. I love this card. It's in like every Mitsu variant.
I know, he's like a fine normal summon. Like if you have that Habakiri, you can like normal the Night Sword, stack it with the Habakiri, summon the Saji, and then you can chamber the Saji by bringing back the Night Sword Serpent.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually just really good. The thing that like Night Sword offers you in this deck compared to Pure is in the Pure deck it doesn't really go anywhere, right? Like it makes an IP, which is fine, but it's not like, doing anything particularly crazy. In this deck, it bridges into like the full Fiendsmith combo. It can be Gallant Granite if you don't get drolled. Like, it just facilitates a lot of things, which is cool. And for like, it's obviously a brick, but it makes you much, much better into certain hand traps. Like, the high impact ones, like way better into Perulia, way better into Droll, even into Fearless, to be honest, because you just sort of like
it's just an extra free body that you don't have to summon from deck.
That's the thing, right? Like, it's just free body. And if they like chain me out to it, that's the point where you just stop. Then you just don't do the Fiendsmith stuff. You do some other stuff instead, which is cool. And then the I guess like ritual spells, free ritual, one mirror. I guess to go with those, free pre-prep as well. I think this is pretty standard for this sort of deck. Like, it's more of a pure deck than it is anything else.
Yeah, ritual is like the best push in the deck. So
Yeah.
like, you can like hard punish an impulse by just having a second ritual, which obviously you are more likely to have if you play 3. And then pre-prep is just like searching Habakiri plus another witch ritual.
Yeah, it's just like a really good card. And actually, mirror is just good as well. This being like a third ritual spell is just really cool. Because like it just having the
you can set up all 3 rituals on your first turn.
Yeah, it's cool. It just sort of like facilitates some combos where you end up doing like a lot in one turn. Like the ideal end board of this deck is like it's like like IP Wave King or Desiree or whatever Bow like.
You either go for like a IP Caesar, Futsu, or you go for like Bao, Desiree with IP Engrave, with a Futsu, with like Prayers
Magatama, Futsu, like the full follow-up Engrave, like like a Habakiri in hand or something. You do a lot when this deck works, which is cool. But yeah, free ritual I think just made sense, because it's like, it's just like, if you draw 2, it's completely acceptable. You just want to see it realistically, because you don't, if it's your first action with like summoning Amno, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
because then like you're forcing discards immediately. Like draw becomes much less of an issue. Because like, cool, you're going -2 to draw.
Yeah, like they draw you and you're like, okay, I'll delinquent duo you basically, and I'll send back Night Sword and Kusa, add back this, and then do XYZ. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Then free prayers is obviously just unreasonable card, to be honest. And then the other Mitsu card we played in the main was Magatama. We sided the trap, but Magatama was just like. It's just actually just very good.
Yeah, it has applications going first and second. There's like weird lines where like I found if like your army got stuck in grave, you could add it back off Kusa with Futsu, and then you could ritual summon it on your opponent's turn with the Magatama. So it's almost an additional ritual summon on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, there is a lot of cool lines with this card. Like, this card is just very funky. Like,
it's also just a pop, which is good.
Yeah, like it's just good. Yeah, it's a chaos orange out, which is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a cool card. Like, when this card was first announced, we weren't super convinced by it, because it's like during the main phase only. It's obviously just not as good as Prayers.
Yeah.
This card's really grown on me, honestly. Like, there's a world actually where I think I would maybe even want to play more, but just because I think it is just actually just really, really good to just draw.
Yeah, it's a very. I had hands where like I draw and I'm like, this is really, really strong. Especially when you push into a board.
Yeah, like into a board, this card is just really, really good.
Dodge removal.
Yeah, like I think this card is just kind of insane.
Yeah.
And then the tiny Fiendsmith engine.
Yes.
There's 1 Lacrima, 1 Engraver, 1 Sanct, and 1 Paradise. So we didn't play Tract.
Yes.
And Lori, because for one, Lori is just kind of like very whatever. I don't particularly want that card in my deck. Tract, the issue is like you would like, so say if you have to start Engraver with your like this is your first search or whatever. If you add Tract, your hand is substantially worse into draw.
Yeah, like the whole point of this Fiendsmith engine was to have the deck have plays around draw.
Yeah.
And by playing Tract, if you open the Engraver, you now just lose to draw the game.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? And it's like, whereas Sanct, which is a bit of like a weirder card, I don't like, some people play obviously, but it's not super popular. Is it just summons a token, it locks you, like you have to have no monsters, you summon a token, and you can't attack with like non-light spells just for first turn, really. But it just facilitates the Fiendsmith combo when you draw Engraver, but for the most part, these are like, we just go into these off moon. This is just so this doesn't become a brick, basically. But it's also acceptable to draw. It makes Engraver acceptable to draw, which basically removes like the thing of it being like... so in the like sort of regular Fiendsmith Mitsu lists, if you play no Sanct or Tract, this is a brick. If you play Sanct, Tract, and Luri, Luri's a brick. So it's like, it's still having to play 1 brick, whereas in this list, it's just like, there is no individual brick from the Fiendsmith engine outside of Paradise, but that's the same in all the lists. Which is cool. And then Paradise was something we decided to go for Wave King blind for the most part.
Yeah, it hits Mitsu because obviously the ritual spells. It hits Malice effects to come back. It even stops like ice.
Yeah,
for
that's the
example.
thing. It's
like it has
acceptable,
like
right?
something into every single deck, and it also kills a lot of rogue decks.
Yeah, that was the thing because it's UK Nats, right? There's a lot of rogue. So putting up like Wave King with Trap Engrave, as well as then having the Fiendsmith follow up is going to just be too much for a lot of the rogue decks to deal with, especially if you do any sort of Mitsu stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, these cards are just really good. They facilitate Chaos Angel as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
They just do a bunch of stuff, which is nice.
Engraver plus any Mitsu 4 is like Dark Chaos Angel.
Yeah, which is just solid. Like a lot of things struggle with that. And then we played like a decent amount of non-engine, I think. We played 3 Fua, 3 Perulia, 3 Draw. This is like the hand traps, I guess. Oh, and 1 Nib, but this is more of like a
search target.
Search target. This is more of like a combo piece where like you search Nib like from Gallant, like on summon 4 basically, and then you have like Nib as like this sort of like what do we refer to it as? It was like the insurance package, right?
Yeah, it's like you have to beat my board and play through it.
Yeah, it's just like it's asking a lot, right? And this obviously triggering your Mitsu effects and stuff is really good. Like so it like clears their board but also generates you follow up and resummons your board, which is just a lot. Like it's just really good. And then these sort of were just like
the flood hand traps.
The flood hand traps. They're just unfair. Like we expected basically the room to be Mitsurugi for the most part. Or like just sort of those sort of variants. And Fearless is just obviously just very good versus everything, the same as Droll. Yeah, these guys are just good. The other thing is that's cool is these are a 4.
Yeah, so like sometimes when you have like a bit of strange hands, you can only do Fiends per package.
Yeah.
On the extra that like allows Charlies to bridge into Mitsu.
Yeah, which is cute, right? Like I think it's just like these are an acceptable normal summon as well, which is cool.
Yes.
Then we played for other non-engine, it was 3 Droplet. This was just sort of like we couldn't really think of like a better non-engine card to play that individually would be good into most things, as well as it being good to draw off Charmies.
Yeah, and also like Mitsu kind of like has this thing where it generates quite a few dead cards.
Yeah.
Right after like the infinite searches you do with like Futsu coming back.
Yeah.
So it's like just you have a lot of free fodder for Droplet.
That's the thing, right? And it's like super cute into boards. It's like our first action activate ritual or whatever. They're like, yeah, I'll do whatever, and you're like, cool, chain Droplet, sack the ritual spell. Like it's just free. It's also an acceptable go fast card, which is cool. It was sort of like the only thing that could play into a board that was like already established. To say it was just like like Detonator or whatever. It was good into that. Whereas it'd also be good into like Prez summoning back their Amno or whatever, or like them summoning back White Binder, like that sort of thing. It's just a really good card. I think it was the most optimal card to play considering the rest of the non-engine stuff. And then the last card was just cool by. Just because it's just overall just a really good card. It's not because it's like we necessarily lost to particular hand traps or whatever. It's just sort of just because it's just good.
Yeah, it's like it's
yeah, this thing is just like it's acceptable going first and second. It's just a good card. Then the extra. The main was 41. Extra was the Fiendsmith stuff, which is Moon, Requiem, Sequence, Agnum Day, Bow, Desiree, Necro Equip, Wave King, Chaos Angel. There was actually a world where there was a point where there was 2 Moon and a Link Spider in the stack.
Because we had I had like 2 or 3 games in testing where it's like the most profitable point to nib this deck is on the Moon and a single like Mitsu Ritual war. So you get the token, the Mitsu Ritual comes back, and then you just go, I'll make a Link Spider with a token, and then you make second Moon and you proceed to do full Fiends combo. But instead, we decided we should probably have like a actual combo piece.
Yeah, it's like let's play actual cards that might come up, I guess.
So like we put in like Bow and like other cards. Like
Yeah, it makes more sense because like if you get to Requiem in this deck and like you summon Lacrima and like get the effective mill, it's just sort of like they've let you get the Fiendsmith stuff right, which is just like
at this point. Okay, I have like
they're just giving you too much cards.
Minimum Rec Lacrima and Graveyard.
You have like Rec Lacrima and Graveyard plus follow up of like with Engraver and stuff. It's just a lot. And then the rest of the stuff is just kind of like. The reason why we played this is because this, when you know it's Raizo, isn't super fantastic to make.
Yes.
So when you have like Desiree Bow, this is like equipped for sequence or whatever, this is more interactions than this basically, because this one just loses out to X, whereas this is like trading realistically really well into a bunch of stuff. It just creates more options really, and then Chaos Angel was just kind of broken, to be honest. And then we played IAP, SP, Dynamundo. It's fairly standard, like it's just the good links to make realistically in this deck. King of Thrones, which was cool. Make this a couple of times. There's cool hands where like weird clunky hands basically, where your hand is like Engraver Sanct or Sanct and like a Charmy, and you Requiem Lacrima, normal summon the Charmy, make King. King then gets you the Habakiri.
And then you'll full Mitsu.
And you play. It's cool. It's worth playing. Gallant Grind such as Nib like in the combo or whatever. Which is just again really good to have like Emboard plus Nib. And we played Dark, which is kind of just the 15th card. It could honestly be kind of whatever.
Yeah, this was the other thing we put in.
Yeah.
The Link Spider and Second Moon. It was like, in theory, like, instantly baits interaction, and get you a search if they like Murakumo it.
But it's very
I don't think I summoned it once.
I think I made it once and just conceded it afterwards because the guy just like didn't play into it. I was like, sure. So this probably is the thing to change realistically. This could be, I guess, any other card you might have found in your own testing that you like more.
Yeah.
We just didn't really have one. And the side's kind of interesting, I think. The side's one of the cooler parts of the deck. So we played Freelancer, he says. Yeah, he's like, this is the cool part, obviously. So we played this.
We played the Mana stacks, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, no, it's like, it's just like, it's like a bit, right? Where it's just like, nobody was playing.
It's a really interesting tech.
Really interesting tech. No, so, this is just the Malice tech, so you just have to play something for Malice, realistically.
Yeah, we honestly didn't respect Malice enough to play Meows.
No, Meows just felt like very well. We played a different card, which is cool.
Yeah.
This is just acceptable. Like, this is good into other rogue decks as well.
It's weirdly into like Memento, Crystral, those sort of things. It like pigeonholes all their plays.
That's the thing, right? Like, it's the sort of thing where it's just like, if we paired against Malice, and it's just like, you just make, like, having this is just free, right?
And so actually, all three of us paired into
Zero Malice. Yeah, this card just lives on our side decks rent free. And we decided free Ash. So the thing is, like, you obviously have to side out like 6 Charmies or whatever, like minimum in every game when you go first. So the Ashes came in, and we sided in Impulse also, which looks weird because we're playing Fiendsmith cards. Ash is obviously just very good, but so we can just kind of chuck that one to the side. It's just like the most. It's better than Charmy, right? Going first, obviously. Impulse was the weird one, which is really cool because people do not expect this when they see the Fiendsmith cards game 1.
Yeah, so actually, I caught someone out on the Sunday playing inside of him where I do all the Fiendsmith stuff, and I think it was game 2, and then game 3 I hit him with an Impulse, and he's got 2 Phantasma sitting in hand, and he just goes, he goes to me off the game. Not only had I been Impulse, but now I know you're not using any of your Fiendsmith stuff, so I've got 2 dead cards sitting in my hand.
It's really, really cool. Like, when you go first as well, this is just such like a real go first card, because like it's Solemn Warning going first. That's also like a real go second card, which is cool. It's just really high impact as well, and this is what we played instead of Meows, is like additional Malice respect card sort of thing, but as well as it being good into basically everything. Like, I don't think there's a matchup where this doesn't come in realistically, because like all the Ryzeal decks are just Mitsuru Ryzeal decks for the most part. So this comes in every time, like it comes in versus Malice, comes in versus like a bunch of Rogue as well. Realistically,
pretty much every Rogue has an effect to someone.
Yeah, right. So it's just very, very good. And then we played Magdurus.
Yeah.
These cards are just kind of good. Obviously, there's not really too much to say about these. They're just very good in the mirror and stuff like that. And it just felt like if we're kind of like respecting them and a bit afraid of them, maybe we should just play them realistically.
Yeah.
Wusu, I love this guy. I think this card's really cool. It's just a kaiju.
This card's great.
Yeah, it's just really good.
Like the pattern for going second is you can just take out the 4 Fiendsmith cards and put in 3 Impulse and a Wosu.
Yeah. So like those come out and we have like this.
And then this deals with like the Wosu just deals with so much. Like you charm your opponent in like a half board. I had a guy like and like detonator with cross pass and like that's really cool. Like, I'll just Wosu it. Now really you no longer have a cross negate and I have a trigger of like
exactly like and they like expect you to do Fiendsmith stuff and you just then have like the thing is as well, we made the third arrow matter a little bit.
Yes.
Because when they expect the Fiendsmith stuff, they hold things for longer to interact with like sequence and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like if you go no on arrow matter, search, they're like, I guess that's fine. You go, cool, add the kaiju them, like trigger off your stuff, out the threat or whatever. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It being level 8 comes up as well sometimes, but like that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's kind of like negligible.
But it's cool. And then we played. These are like exclusively go first cards for the most part. It was cross out talents. You guys played the second nib?
We played second nib.
Yeah. I played cross out because I was thinking that like I was just gonna pair like a bunch of the mirror, or like the Mitsu variant mirror sort of thing. Also, like I had this idea where when you go first and you side out the Charmies and you side into these are the hand traps that actually just kind of get you, right? Like when your hand's a bit weak. So cross out was just additional protection through that. And this card's just kind of obnoxious. Like it's just a very good card. Same with talents. Like it's just obnoxious when you have this, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like result. Like I had a game where like I got drawled, and got to like Amno make them discard a card. And I was like talents. I was like just they start like 3 cards and like the game is just over. These cards are just obnoxious. And we played the trap in the side, which comes in when we go first. The card's really good. I like this one.
It's a nominee, right?
It's a nominee. And you can search all 3 pieces of interaction in this list. So like you're like getting like Maggot's Hammer Prayers plus Trap with like Nib in hand and like all the Fiendsmith stuff. It's just a lot.
Yeah, when this deck goes first, like and goes off, it's near impossible to lose. You can just start throwing stuff at your opponent, and eventually they'll just run out of cards because you make them discard.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
The stuff, pop it. All your stuff keeps floating back.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is your grind is incredible whilst making like a very like what would be considered previously to be like a glass cannon deck end board, which is very cool. But yeah, that was the deck. Shout out to all the Plymouth guys: Josh, Jacob, Brad, Jordan. This is Josh. Jake behind the camera. Everybody who I guess like helped us vary the deck and stuff, which was cool. All the Plymouth guys. I think I already said that. Thanks Squad for letting us do the video for the channel, which is cool. Trying to think of anything else. You guys got any shout outs? No. Cool. Right. Yeah. Cheers, guys.